March 1928. Charles Merrill, founder of Merrill Lynch, walks into his office. Writes one letter to every client. 2 words. Sell everything. His clients laugh. His partners call him insane. Wall Street mocks him in the newspapers. 18 months later, those who listened kept their fortunes. Those who didn't? Destroyed. This is the story of 1928. The year 1100 banks failed while newspapers declared poverty defeated. The year the warnings screamed while everyone danced. The year the crash began, 12 months before anyone noticed. And if you think this is just history, look at your phone. Check the date. Now look closer. 1928 wasn't the crash. It was the dress rehearsal. January 15th, New York Times. Business boom continues unabated. The Dow climbs from 202 to 300, 48% in 12 months. RCA stock surges 400%. The Tesla of its era. Consumer credit explodes 30%. $3 billion borrowed for radios, cars, dreams. Herbert Hoover campaigns on a promise. We are nearer to the final triumph over poverty than ever before in the history of any land. He wins in a landslide. Calvin Coolidge tells Congress, "The country is in sound economic condition. No clouds on the horizon." Treasury Secretary Andrew Mellon smiles for the cameras. There will be no depression. Prosperity is just around the corner. December 31st, 1928. Champagne, fireworks, victory. The New York Times editorial closes the year, America, the land of unlimited opportunity. But in Kansas, a farmer walks into his bank, asks to withdraw his savings. The teller says, "I'm sorry, sir, we don't have it." The bank closes the next morning. No announcement, no panic, just gone. 1,100 times that year. And nobody on Wall Street even noticed. Walk into any American home in 1928. There's a radio. Families gather around it like a shrine. NBC broadcasts coast to coast. Amos and Andy. Jazz. Boxing matches. The future live in your living room. RCA stock doesn't climb. It explodes. From $85 to $420 in 18 months. Shoeshine boys give stock tips. Teachers quit to day trade. Everybody's winning. Samuel Insull controls the electrical grid for 9 states. His holding company stock rises 200%, built entirely on leverage, built entirely on borrowed money, built entirely on the belief that tomorrow will always be bigger than today. Manhattan sprouts steel, the Chrysler Building, the future made vertical. Ford sells 1 million Model A cars, not with cash, with payment plans. $10 down, $5 a month, forever. Unemployment hits 3.2%, the lowest in American history. Flappers dance the Charleston until sunrise. Speakeasies overflow. Wall Street becomes the national religion. And everyone believes the priests. October 1928. William Durant, founder of General Motors, one of the richest men in America, tells reporters, "I see nothing to worry about in the present situation." Jesse Livermore, the greatest trader of his generation, goes all in, buys on margin, doubles down. Even the skeptics start to believe. Because when everyone's getting rich, doubt feels like cowardice. And nobody wants to be the coward at the party. If this pattern sounds familiar, tap the like button. The algorithm needs to know this matters. Because what comes next, most people won't see coming. But 200 miles west of Wall Street, a different story. Kansas, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Iowa. 1,100 banks fail between 1927 and 1928. Not big banks, regional banks, farm banks, the kind that hold a town's entire savings in a single vault. Drought hits the Midwest. Harvests drop 12%. Wheat prices collapse. 20% of farmers can't make loan payments. The banks that lent to them? Gone. The New York Times runs a headline in October. Farmers reap record harvests. Same month, 6 banks closed in Nebraska alone. The truth? Foreclosures in the dark. Exports fall 7%. Global trade fracturing. Wall Street calls it a temporary adjustment. 12% of all stock purchases are made on margin. Borrowed money, betting on borrowed growth. Regulators see it. Call it investor confidence. The top 1% of Americans hold 24% of all income. The bottom 50%? They hold debt. There are voices. Roger Babson, economist, gives a speech in September 1928. Sooner or later, a crash is coming. Wall Street laughs. Professor Irving Fisher of Yale writes, "Stock prices have not yet reached a permanently high plateau, but they will." The skeptics are called pessimists, un-American, traitors to prosperity. Charles Merrill writes his letter, "Sell everything." His own firm nearly fires him. Paul Warburg, banker who helped create the Federal Reserve, warns publicly in March 1929. If orgies of speculation are permitted to spread, the ultimate collapse is certain. He's ignored, because nobody listens when everyone's winning. And by the time the whispers become screams, the music is too loud to hear. It starts small. A farmer in Kansas misses a loan payment. The bank absorbs it. Then another farmer, then 12. The bank can't absorb 12. Tuesday morning, doors locked, sign in the window, closed until further notice. It never opens again. By spring 1929, 600 more banks fail in 6 months. But the Dow doesn't notice. September 3, 1929, the Dow hits 381, the peak. Photographers capture men on Wall Street, arms raised, celebrating. September 5th, the market drops 10 points. Analysts call it profit-taking. September 20th, down 30 points. Healthy correction. October 23rd. Irving Fisher, the same economist who promised permanence, tells the New York Times, "Stock prices have reached what looks like a permanently high plateau." The next day, October 24th, the floor opens. Black Thursday. 12.8 million shares traded. Panic selling. Brokers screaming. Ticker machines can't keep up. They run 4 hours behind. Nobody knows the real price of anything. October 29th, Black Tuesday. 16 million shares. The Dow loses 13% in one day. William Durant, founder of General Motors, loses $70 million in 72 hours. From one of the richest men in America to bankrupt. He spends his final years managing a bowling alley in Flint, Michigan. That's not metaphor. That's what happens when you mistake momentum for permanence. Jesse Livermore makes $100 million shorting the crash, then loses it all in 1934, kills himself in 1940. Even the winners couldn't survive what came next. By 1932, the Dow sits at 41, down 89% from the peak. 9,000 banks fail, gone, 25% unemployment. The prosperity wasn't fake, the foundation was. It was credit disguised as wealth, speculation dressed as investment, collective delusion mistaken for economic law. And when reality arrived, there was nothing underneath. Senator Reed Smoot stands on the Senate floor in 1930. Nobody could have seen this coming. 1,100 bankers saw it in 1928. Charles Merrill saw it in March 1928. Paul Warburg warned in March 1929. They saw it. They screamed it. Nobody listened. October 2024. The S&P 500 closes the year up 23%. Nvidia stock, 700% gains since 2023. The RCA of artificial intelligence. Everyone's buying. Retail investors, pension funds, your neighbor, consumer debt, $17.8 trillion. Credit card delinquencies up 15% in 2024. Auto loan delinquencies at 14-year highs. The headlines: Fed achieves soft landing. AI revolution unstoppable. Market resilience confirmed. Jerome Powell, Federal Reserve Chair, tells reporters in September 2024, "We have managed to bring inflation down without the significant downturn many feared." Do you hear it? The exact same confidence. The exact same refusal to see what's breaking in the corners. 2021. Ray Dalio publishes The Changing World Order, warns about debt supercycles. 2023. Jamie Dimon tells J.P. Morgan shareholders, now may be the most dangerous time the world has seen in decades. 2024. Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway holds a record $344 billion in cash, not invested. waiting. They're not predicting, they're positioning. In 1928, they called it the radio craze. In 2025, we call it AI. In 1928, families bought Model A Fords on credit. In 2025, we finance phones, cars, vacations, lives we can't afford. In 1928, regional banks failed while Wall Street partied. In 2025, Silicon Valley Bank, Signature Bank, First Republic collapse in 48 hours. March 2023. The headlines moved on in a week, but the pattern locked in. Manufacturing data fluctuates near contraction. ISM below 50 multiple months this year. Commercial real estate stress builds, delinquencies climbing 30% since 2022. U.S. national debt racing toward $38 trillion. Interest payments alone approaching $1 trillion per year. More than defense, more than Medicare, just interest on money already spent. But the Magnificent Seven stocks keep climbing, and everyone says, this time is different. 1928, this time is different. 1999, this time is different. 2007, this time is different. 2025, this time is different. History doesn't repeat, it just finds new people who think they're special. If you're seeing this pattern in your market, your economy, your country, leave your flag in the comments. Let's map how global this really is. Because the next phase, it doesn't ask permission. Here's what they don't teach you about 1929. The crash didn't destroy wealth. It revealed the wealth was never there. Joseph Kennedy, future president's father, sold everything in summer 1929. When asked why, he said, "When the shoeshine boy gives you stock tips, it's time to get out." He kept his fortune, multiplied it. Not because he was smarter, because he recognized the pattern. 3 empires, 3 currencies, 1 mechanism, Rome. Senators bought land with worthless coins while citizens starved. Britain, J.P. Morgan exited sterling 6 months before the collapse. America, 1928. Merrill, Kennedy, Warburg warned, positioned, survived. America, 2025. Dalio writes books. Buffett holds cash. Diamond warns shareholders. The pattern doesn't change, only the people who recognize it. In 1928, they had 12 months of warnings, 1,100 bank failures, export collapses, farm foreclosures, margin debt records, all ignored. The question isn't if the pattern repeats. The question is simpler. Are you listening this time, or are you dancing? 1928 wasn't the crash. It was the year everyone chose not to see it coming. The year the newspapers declared victory while the foundation crumbled. The year experts warned and were called pessimists. The year the music played loudest, right before the silence. Charles Merrill sent his letter in March 1928, 18 months early. His clients mocked him. History proved him right. The wealth didn't vanish in 1929. It relocated. From those who believed the headlines to those who read the ledgers. From those who danced to those who positioned. From those who thought this time was different to those who knew it never is. Right now, in October 2025, the same choice exists. The headlines are celebrating. The warnings are screaming. The pattern is flashing red. And most people, still dancing. Subscribe to Wealth Wars. We track what the wealthy do, not what they say. Next episode, how 2008 rewired the world without anyone noticing. Because the battles behind balance sheets never ended. They just found new currencies to deny. History doesn't warn twice. It just repeats louder. And when the music stops this time, there won't be enough chairs. There never are.